Peace, family. I'm waiting on everybody to come in. Give everybody some time to try to come in, see what's going on. Peace, peace. I'm gonna break this stuff down for y'all today so we can stop playing this guessing game. We can start playing this. We can start playing the game true and correct on how we need to be moving in this jurisdiction. And trying to see peace, my brother, peace. Let me see what else. Let's see. Um, see Facebook. Let's see. Try to give everybody some time to come in. You're the only one here so far. Trying to get everybody a chance to come in. Let everybody. Let me get into. Let me see. Let me see that. Islam. So tonight we're gonna go over um, what's the difference between the difference between a common law entity, a religious entity, and a statutory entity. Um, Let's see if I can pull that up. Let's see if I can pull that up on the other one. Uh, let's see. Just gonna break some stuff down for y'all. I'm trying to just give everybody a few minutes before we get started so we can come on in. I'll do it that. So, okay, family. Just trying to give everybody a few minutes to get in before we get started, family. I'm just trying to give people a few minutes before we get started. Peace and love, my brother. Peace. So it's been 5 minutes. I'm about to get started in another 2 minutes, family. Another 2 minutes. Let me give people a few more people because I don't want to have to backtrack. Uh, So let me get ready to get started, family. Islam. Um, I want y'all to understand the difference between a common law entity, right? A common law entity, right? And there's two types of common law entity. There's a sole proprietor and a a um, a general partnership. Those are two um, those are two common law entity. They don't have to be registered on the state level. All they need is a document, a contract, an establishment, and okay, thank you. Okay, go sit down. Where you get this from? Okay, so okay, so I want y'all to think about the common law is derived from judicial decisions and precedents set by court over time. It's based on legal establishment through case law creation. Judges interpret statutes and apply them to specific cases. Their ruling become part of the common law. But what I want y'all to understand, when you setting up a common law entity, it's not a statutory entity. Anything that you utilize by statute, I don't care if it's a church, it become a statutory creature. It's not a constitutional creature, it's a statutory creature. So what you got to understand is what's going on. My daughter gave me this. Let's put this down. Then you have a religious entity. It's based on religious law, on religious texts, doctrines, and teaching. Is governed by moral and ethical conduct according to religious belief. It applies adherence of specific religions, often covers matters such as family, marriage, and personal conduct. Religious authorities enforce religious law within their community. Sharia law is Islam. Halakha is Judaism, and canon law is Christianity. Okay? So I need y'all to understand statutory law is the creation created by legislative bodies such as Congress and is formally written down into statutes or acts. And statutes define legal rights, obligations, and procedures. They cover a wide range of topics from criminal offenses to business regulations. Hierarchy, statutory law, precedence over common law where there is a conflict. Example, traffic tax, traffic laws, tax codes, and environmental regulations are all examples of statutory law. Then, but I want you to understand there's a such thing as a non-registered religious entity. So, the First Amendment of their Constitution says that they can't prohibit any exercise of your religious rights. So, if you want to start a religious institution, it do not have to be statutory. A lot of y'all are looking at Illinois, and y'all go to the Religious Restoration Act, and then y'all file y'all stuff in accordance to a statutory law, but you don't know how to create the the relationship between the non-registered entity with the state versus the state entity. You don't know how to create that relationship. There has to be a relationship. So if you want stuff to stay out the public where the jurisdiction, you got to understand how that works. And that's done through contract. You give the in the public domain, you give them specific rights and powers, and then other rights and powers you keep under here that governs how they can do with your particular documents. Okay, family? I need y'all to understand that. This is about creating relationships. I need y'all to understand this is about creating relationships. So when I look at a lot of people, they'll say, I got a 9-8 number, King L Bay. I got a foreign entity. But then they'll attach their private entity to that entity that got a 9-8 number. Why am I saying this? It's because you just attach that to a entity that has the IRS got control over that entity. And I'm gonna show you something in a minute. We're gonna go through this, and I want to run through this real fast so we can start understanding some stuff. So now we can stop playing this guessing game, right? About all of this going on, right? So let's look at this, right? Let's look at this. So I want y'all to understand when you set up a church, an Islamic church, anytime you set up something, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me stop sharing. Let me see if did I exit it out. I might have. It's called a control number. I think I did. So I think I had too much stuff open. So let me pull it back up, family. Give me a second. Let me pull it up. Um, uh, Internal Revenue Service control number. Is it the first or I think it's the last digits. Let's see if I can pull this up. I had it pulled up. Lock series. I'm trying to show y'all something real quick. I'm gonna go through this. Let me see. Internal Revenue control number, payments. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. What do I do with that? Let me see if I can find it. Internal Revenue Control Number. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, I had it pulled up. I think Terminal Control Number. I might can't find it because I got this let me see. Foreign Control Number. My fault, family. I'm trying to Foreign Control Domestic Corporations. So this ain't all the way it, but they got this Islam family. They got a foreign control number that I need y'all to understand, right? So they got this foreign control domestic corporation. So you have to understand, and the reason why I need y'all to understand, so countries of owners and age of corporation. So they have on the last four digits, I think the last four digits, or is it the first three digits, they have what they call a foreign control number. And through hold on, let's go through, I'm going to show y'all this, right? Also, too. So we can start making better understanding our relationship with these entities so that we can start knowing how to deal with these people correctly so that we don't be stuck. So I'm going to try to go through this real fast because I don't want us to go through I don't want us to be on here all day. It's Saturday. I know a lot of people want to do some stuff. There's Social Security Administration. Okay, let me copy this. So, I want to show y'all all of this about these control systems and these control numbers so y'all can start understanding what's going on and understand how to create these relationships. So let me share this screen. Let me share this screen. Right. Let me share this with y'all. Islam family. So this is about your birth certificate. Information about the birth area code. Since most states registers use a uniform numbering system, the birth certificate issued by the state. Now, this is the Social Security Administration. I want y'all to understand this. The birth certificate issued by the state generally include 11-digit number in the format. The number begins with a 3-digit birth area code number followed by a 2-digit year of registration. Always the year of birth, and lastly, the last 6-digit serial registration number assigns sequentially to each birth as it is filed. Procedure for reviewing the both birth code. The following procedure is in conjunction with reviewing age, identity, citizenship, lawful alien status, evidence for a SSN card. So what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, when you take your social security number and give it to the IRS, or you start opening up bank accounts with that, and you start filling out W-2s with your job, you change and convert that number into a tax identification number. And there is a control number that the IRS within, when they give you an EIN number, it's a control number within that process. This is how they can identify what's what. This is how they know if the number, right? Because a lot of people was talking about the CPNs when the IRS can identify if they issue the number or not based upon the control number and based upon this registration code, right? When you get the social security number, they can they all of this stuff is codified. So they have the birth area code, right? So the reason why I'm telling y'all this, so now you can start putting in your mind what's going on, how these people are identifying you. That everything is codified. In the Constitution, it tells them that everything must be codified. If you look at the 9th and 10th Amendment, it talks about codification. Anything that's not codified belongs to the people or to the state. So everything is codified. So now you can start understanding really what's going on and how these people are identifying you. They're identifying you as a taxpayer. That is your real identification. That's why everybody wants your social. Give me your social. Give me your EIN. Why? Because you volunteered to pay the debt. You went into voluntary servitude, which is not illegal. It's just another form of slavery, but you volunteered to be a slave or a servant. Don't do it again. My name is fucking I'm gonna beat your ass. And babe, I'm on the video. Yeah! 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 So now we finna get into the juicy stuff. I'm trying to get your head wrapped around what's going on, right? So now you can start understanding how to connect the dots. So now we can start talking about the source of law. Now we finna get into the meat and the gritty and the stuff so I can show you that we're dealing with the District of Columbia and we're gonna get into that. But first I need to show y'all the source of law. We're gonna talk about religious and all of this stuff, documents. I'm finna bust y'all head tonight, family. Y'all ain't gonna be ready for this. I'm finna bust y'all head tonight. I'm finna bust your head and I'm gonna show you some things that you can do and I'm gonna show y'all some stuff. Now let's go into the source of law. Let me break this down. Let me show y'all this. Why am I talking about this? The only way you going to know you have to know what's going on to be able to collaterally attack the jurisdiction, to stop them from being able to say this and saying that. And you got to know how to contract. That's the next step. Source of law, origin of law. The source of law are the origins of law, the binding rules that enable any state to govern its territory. The term source of law may sometimes refer to the sovereign or to the seat of power from which the law derives its validity. There are a number of different sources that are used to define the creation and force of law, though not all are used equally. Some examples of sources include legislative, government, regulation, court decisions, and customs. Right? The source of law are the authorities by which the law is made. Why did I bring that up, King L. Bay? Why did you bring up the source of law? Because religious law is a source of law. Everybody talk about, oh, now you can't enforce. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can enforce your religious rights. You can enforce your religious rights. Because y'all need to understand why I brought that up. Because they're coming up with their source of law based off of this next concept. I'm going to show you. See, ain't nobody going to show y'all this. It's called the source of funds. See, this is where ain't nobody teaching y'all this. This is where people are lacking in our community because they're not showing y'all everything to determine how this jurisdiction, how they are acting. So, let me share the screen. This is how they're getting their jurisdiction right here. Now, I just showed y'all the source of law. Where is the source coming from? It could come from religious. It could come from legislation, right? Because ecclesiastical government or Islamic government is a real government. Do not let nobody tell you nothing different. I know because I do this. I didn't use Islamic law in the court, and the court recognized it. The source of funds is the origin of a person's money or financial asset. Now let's go over here. The source of funds refer to the origin of money that flows in an account, whether it to be a bank account, a crypto wallet, or through a payment provider. When established the source of funds, financial institutions seek to understand not merely where the funds came from in terms of the account from which they were transferred, but although the activity involved in generating those funds. Examples of source of funds include personal saving, pensions, share sales and dividends, property sales, gambling winnings, inheritance, give compensation from legal ruling. So, reason why I'm bringing that up, why King El Bey bringing that up? Tell me why. King El Bey is bringing that up because the Federal Reserve is not constitutional money. That is a private jurisdiction. I'm going to show y'all what's going on with this whole jurisdiction coming out of the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia has what they call long arm jurisdiction. They the ones that the Federal Reserve, the IMF, they contracted with the United States Corporation and with the United States of America, and they extended their jurisdiction outside of the 10-mile squares that they was designated, and they came on to the 50 states under the what? As a democracy, not as a republic. Because if you was living in a republic, it would be Texas State Republic, Ohio State Republic. You're not living in that. And I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to prove it to you so you guys can start understanding how to connect the dots. This is the problem. And can't nobody show you how to trace everything. So I can trace it frontwards and backwards. I can know where the source of funds coming from. And since all your money is coming from Washington, D.C., you stuck using Federal Reserve notes, and you doing commercial enterprising as a federal agent or an agent, you are stuck in the jurisdiction. So when you go to work and they fill out them W-2s and you do all of this, you are operating within the gambit of District of Columbia. So let me show you. Let's get into where Washington. Let's talk about this, right? Hold on. Let's go there so y'all can start. So I can show y'all, right? Then I'm gonna show y'all some stuff. So, and then we gonna come back to this. Now let's go here, and I'm gonna show you Washington D.C. Where is it located? I'm gonna show you where the United States is located. It says Code of District of Columbia. Now I want you to understand the District of Columbia is not a state, it's a district. I showed y'all last week. That the District of Columbia is broken up into 11 districts, and they're layered over the states. The District of Columbia is the portion of the territory of the United States ceded. Told you, see that word ceded? Treaty. We talking about ceded, right? By the state of Maryland for the permanency of government of the United States. Hold on. What did you say? The District of Columbia is the portion of the territory of the United States ceded by the state of Maryland for the permanency of government of the United States, including the river of Potomac and in its course through the District of Columbia and the islands therein. Okay, I'm on the video. Take the water. Okay. So let's go on. Let me stop sharing. Let me show you where the district, and I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna show you. We gonna get into this, right? We're gonna get into some stuff. I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna show you how powerful religion is. Let me show y'all how powerful religion is and how people try to act like religion don't have no force of law. I'm going to show y'all, right? I'm going to give y'all some game. Now, this is Cornell law this is the UCC, location of the debtor. Now, we're going to go to H. It says the United States is located in the District of Columbia. So all this, the state of California, the state of Mississippi, the state of Alabama, the state of New York, these are a number of districts. They're not states. You're not in no state. You are in a district. You are in a federal district. You are in a district. You are not in the state. They're not using constitutional money, the source of funds. So you're not encroaching the Constitution on those areas of law, because this is how they're establishing jurisdiction through funding. All of these states that they call are in a democracy, and they get federal funding every month. You are in a federal district. You are not in those. They're not the state of republic in which you think they are. They're not operating the United States of America. They're operating in the corporate capacity of the United States. I need y'all to understand that, so you can start tracing, so you can know what questions to ask. They getting y'all through contract. No. You got the bathroom. So let me stop sharing. Let me show you some more. Let me break this down to you. Let me show you this, right? What did I do with it? This ain't it. Let me show y'all something. Hold on. So we gonna go. I'm gonna show y'all, right? So hold on. Let me show y'all this. So y'all can understand what's going on with the jurisdiction. And I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all the districts. I'm trying to find it. I must have closed it out. The District of Columbia constitute one judicial district. Court shall be held in Washington. So all of these courts that y'all think y'all in, they have what they call long arm jurisdiction. Let me, because I'm about to bust y'all head. Let me show y'all how this stuff works. I'm about to bust y'all head. Long arm jurisdiction, right? Let me show y'all something. Let me bust y'all head. Long arm jurisdiction. A long arm statute is a statute that allows for a court to obtain personal jurisdiction over an out of state defendant on the basis of certain acts committed by a out of state defendant, provided that the defendant has sufficient connection with the state. So this is, they calling it a state, but it's a district. But because they done set the district, they extended the District of Columbia over all 50 states, and they acquiescing you through contract, and you saying that you're a U.S. citizen, which is a corporate fiction dealing with the District of Columbia, they got jurisdiction. When the court receives and has jurisdiction due to long arm statute, the court said it have long arm jurisdiction. It's called minimum contact. Typically, a long arm statute will grant a court jurisdiction over a non-resident if the resident has minimum contact with the court's jurisdiction. What are they telling you right there? I told y'all before, if you a foreign alien resident, you have a lien on you. If you a foreign alien resident, or if you a resident alien, they put a lien on you. Res mean trust, right? Identity. Res mean trust property. Identity, identified, resident. What they took two words and they say trust, property, identified. The all cap name, you are in possession of trust property, dealing in Federal Reserve notes, touching that, giving them minimum contact because you dealing with the source of the funds. And since we don't know how to go about doing it another way, this is why I'm going to teach y'all how to go about doing this different. This is why I'm talking about doing things. We'll talk about that on another time, but I'm going to show you how to use constitutional money, how to come back through and understand what's going on through these jurisdictional issues. So let's continue. Let's continue. I'm gonna break this stuff down for y'all so you can stop guessing. Here's the problem. There's too many people telling you too many different things and they can't pinpoint and break this down. Because when you talk about the source of law, I don't care if it's a treaty, you have to be able to trace it back to the origin of the source of law in which you are using under the application. Because in contract law, it's called trigger language. Because in particular categories of law, they use specific language. So let me show y'all something, right? Let me show y'all some stuff. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. Now I'm gonna copy this, right? I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all this. I'm gonna show y'all in the districts. They tell y'all ain't nobody breaking this down for y'all so y'all can understand the truth. So y'all we can stop guessing at this, family, right? Let me show y'all something. So I was on it, but I what I did was I didn't I was there, right? Let me show y'all this, right? It says District of Columbia. The District of Columbia constitute one judicial district and shall be held in Washington. Now let's go on. Now we're gonna go to the following chapters. Florida. Now it tells you Florida. Whoever live in Florida, right? Florida. Florida is divided in three judicial districts and shall be known as Northern, Middle, and Southern District of Florida, right? And then it tell you the counties. The counties of Alachua, Bay, Calhoun, Dixie. I don't know all of these different counties, but they break it up in counties. And they all of these counties showing you, right, where you live at. Now, if you live in Georgia, Georgia is divided in three districts, shall be known. Can y'all see this, family? I need to know if y'all can see this when I see Georgia. Can y'all see this? I need y'all to see this. I need y'all to see this. I need y'all to see this, family. So these are all the different districts. So you can see this. You are in Georgia. We're talking about the District of Georgia, right? So Georgia is divided in three judicial districts, shall be known as the Northern, Middle, and Southern District. The districts, right? The Northern District comprised of four divisions. And here's the counties. The Gainesville Division comprises the counties of Banks, Borough, Dawson, Fannin, Fort, Fort, Forsyth, Gimmer, right? I ain't gonna go over each one, but they got it all. I'm gonna keep showing you. Every state, Hawaii, they break it down. Constitute one judicial district, which is Midway Islands, Wake Islands, Johnston Island, Sand Island, Kingsman Reef, right? Now let's go on. Idaho. Idaho, exclusive of Yellowstone National Park, constitute as one district. The court shall be held, but see this done different. Idaho, it got something a little different. Court shall be held in Bias, oh no, Cold, Moscow, and Pachelo. Then you got Illinois. Illinois. Illinois in the three districts shall be known as the Northern, Central, and Southern districts. The Northern districts comprise two divisions. The Eastern district comprised of counties of Cook, DuPage, Grundy, Kane, Kendall, Lake, LaSalle, and they just keep telling you, and they keep breaking down the Southern districts. They got all the districts and the counties. So understand it, right? Let's keep going. Indiana, same thing. So you are not in the state republic. You are in the District of Columbia. Here is the evidence. Iowa, they keep showing you Northern District. And then they're showing you the counties in which the districts and all of this and stuff is broken up. Kansas, See, like Iowa has something different going on. Kansas got a little something different going on. The court shall be held in Kansas City, Lawrence, Leavenworth, Salona, Topeka, Hutchinson, Wood, Wood, Wichita, Dodge City, and Fort Scott. See, they're not even broken up into counties. You see what I'm saying? They don't even say county. Some like Iowa and Kansas, it don't even say county. Ain't that where you live, brother? What's your name? I'm trying to think of your name. I'm sorry, brother. Don't you live in Kansas? So y'all need to understand this so now y'all can start correlating what's going on. So when we talked about the source of the funds, we talked about Federal Reserve notes, we're talking about this. So everything the feds, anything you do in society, the feds got jurisdiction automatically. They got, I don't care if it's driving, I don't care if it's everything. The feds, cause this, you are in the bank, you are in the district, and you are in the long arm district of the District of Columbia. I'm showing you the proof so you can go back to the source. Now you can understand what's going on. So now, can't nobody take you through this. Now you can go back through these codes, look at this video, and I can show you that you're in the District of Columbia. This is the district. So let's get down to some needy stuff. Let's get down to some stuff. Let's get down to some other stuff as we're gonna talk about some religious rights. We're gonna talk about all of that, right? I told you that religious law, they said that the court under the Establishment Clause that they can't deal with what? Religious property. So let me go here. Let's get into some other juicy information. Let me show you how powerful religion is. I want y'all to understand the Constitution is made for them. We're not part and parcel to the Constitution, but we can hold someone to their word. You don't have constitutional rights. You have rights protected by the Constitution. I want y'all to understand that. This question can be assumed constitutional. This is coming out of Black's Law, right? Fourth edition, right? It says this question can be assumed constitutional dimensions. We meet at the outside of the contention that solicitation is wholly outside the area of freedom protected by the First Amendment. To this contention, there are two answers. The first is that a state cannot foreclose the exercise of constitutional rights by mere labels. The second is the abstract decision is not the only species of communication which the Constitution protects. The First Amendment also protects vigorous advocacy, certainly of lawful ends against government intrusion. Listen, this is how the government get you. You're either accepting some form of government privilege or benefit. That means you are in a dependent state. This is why when you talk about sovereignty, you have three types of sovereignty. You have sovereignty from a independent state. You got sovereignty from an association. Then you got sovereignty by a dependent state. Look this up. I'm not going to go over everything because it's already 7:52. I need y'all to understand, if you are dependent in any form, or associated in any form, you created a minimum contact when they going to say they got jurisdiction. It says wherever may be or may have been true of suits against government in other countries that exercise in our own, as in this case, a First Amendment right to enforce constitutional rights through litigation as a matter of law cannot be deemed malicious. Your religious protections is number one, family. Don't let nobody talk you out of your religion until we get this other stuff going. Because let me tell you something. When we're dealing with customary law, I told y'all, I showed y'all per treaty. The people who wrote those treaties were Mohammedan. They practiced Islam. That's a part of their culture and their religious that's a part of customary law. When you go to certain countries, they practice Sharia law. And then other Muslim countries, they practice other forms of classical Muslim and other Islamic law that is embedded into the customary law of that country. So let's go here. Let me show y'all some more juicy information, right? Let me go to you in some states. Let me show you what I was found in this state, right? Let me show you. Let me go here. So I want to show y'all something. It says acceptable form of identification. This is by the State Health and Human Services. This is Department of State. This is Department of Health and Human Services. Now we're going to go down. They talk about these, but let's go down to C. Let's go down to C, family. It says if you do not have one from A or or from Group B, provide one from B and two from Group C. It says these are acceptable forms of ID: recent utility bill, cell phone bill with current address, recent paycheck stub, any secondary acceptable ID from Group B that is expired. Okay. Public assistance application or letter. Signed valid voter's registration card. Police report of stolen ID. Official school transcripts. Bank account statements. Social security letter. Marriage license or divorce decree. Certificate, a certified birth certificate from state or other Texas or District of Columbia or other country, automobile insurance or contract, lease agreement, loan or installment payment contract, promissory note or loan contract, court order, property title or lien, automobile title or registration, library card, fishing and hunting license, recent medical record or bill, religious records with signature of a religious official. Hold on. What is they talking about? Religious record with signature of religious official. This is acceptable form of ID. Recent rent receipt with address and name, federal and state local tax records, U.S. Department of Homeland Security notice and correspondence. Why King Bay talking about this, right? So when you get your minister license certificates, this is what I do. This is why I show this so people can understand how to go about moving, right? I'm going to show y'all something, right? Let me show y'all something in other states. Let me show y'all this, right? Let me show y'all something. Let me click onto the other page. Let me go there. Here you go. Now this is one of Chicago's, right? I'm gonna show you somebody in Chicago. They try to act like they don't have to honor your religious rights. They got to. They got to. They got to. This is Chicago. Requirement for photograph and signature of license of driver's license. They got it what they call an exception to the rule. I'm gonna show y'all they have an exception to the rules. Exceptions may be made in the best interest of individuals, Illinois drivers as follows. This is for a person who don't want their photo on their driver's license. Establish religious conviction. A driver will not be required to submit a photograph if sufficient jurisdiction is proven by the driver to establish that a photograph would be in violation or contradictory to the driver's religious conviction. I want y'all to hear that. I want you to hear that. A driver will not be required, this is in the state of Illinois, to submit a photograph if sufficient justification is provided by the driver to establish that a photograph would be in violation of or contradiction to the driver's religious conviction. If a driver declares the use of a photograph is against his or her religion conviction, the driver will be given an affidavit to complete. This affidavit contains designated areas for details, written explanations of reasons why the photograph is against the driver's religious conviction, and place a driver's signature and date and designation of the religious sect and denomination involved in spaces for ministers or other religious leaders to apply his or her attesting to the explanation of a driver offered along with the date of official title of a minister or religious leader. I want to show y'all how powerful religion is. I want to show you do not have to set up a religious institution on the state level. Now, you do want to interface. You can set up a religious institution in the public, but you got to know how to contract. That religious institution in the public got to be prohibited to do certain things. Like one of my religious institutions, it deals in gold and silver for securities. It is prohibited from touching Federal Reserve notes. It got a prohibition through contract. They can't interfere. And I got certain contracts in place. When you understand how to contract, that is your liberation. That's your liberation, family. A lot of everybody is not teaching certain things. So you have I got particular contracts. You got to understand this stuff from a religious aspect. So let me get into the source of the funds, and we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to show you what's going on. Right? I showed you you are in the District of Columbia. The state that you are in the District of Columbia through contract. The United States, they have contracted and you are in a corporate jurisdiction. This is why everybody say, well, they can't deal with the living, right? But you got all of these, and you got a social security number, you got an EIN number, because that's the only way they're going to accept you. And they're making you a taxpayer. That's why the First Amendment is it's the first. Why do you think they call it the First Amendment? Because it's the first, you got the first 10 amendments, they are the Bill of Rights. What is a bill? That means something is due. They got to show where they got jurisdiction. How did they get jurisdiction? Because a lot of y'all don't know how to do this. It's coming from the source of the funds. Ain't nobody teaching y'all that. Y'all keep dealing in these Federal Reserve notes, and y'all don't know how to go about setting up where you don't have to deal in that capacity, where you can move in it. You know how to move in and out the jurisdiction by understanding particular information, because the information is key. I'm showing you how this stuff works. Let me see what else. So let's go over here and let's look at territory and property. I just want to share this with y'all, right? So y'all can understand this. I want to show you. Territorial courts. The courts established in territories of the United States. You're dealing with territorial jurisdiction of the District of Columbia. Territorial jurisdiction over which a government or subdivision thereof has jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is considered as limited to cases arising or persons residing within a defined territory, as a county, a judicial district. I want y'all to see that real good. I just showed you how they doing it. It's done through the county and the districts. The authority of any court is limited by the boundaries thus is fixed. You say you live in the Hamilton County. You say you live in that county. You say you a U.S. citizen. You say you reside in that state. You do. So anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Let's go to territorial property. The land and waters over which a state has jurisdiction and control, whether the legal title be in the state itself or in private individuals. I'm going to read this to you again so y'all understand this. Territorial property. The land and water over which the state has jurisdiction and control whether the legal title be in the state itself or in private individuals. Lakes and waters wholly within the state or its property, and, and also the marginal sea within the 3 miles limited, but the bays and gulfs are not always recognized as state property. Territory, a part of a country separate from the rest and subject to a particular jurisdiction. Let me go here. American law. A portion of the United States, not within the limits of any state, which has not yet been admitted as a state of the Union, but is organized within a separate legislature and with executive and judicial officers appointed by the president. Y'all got to understand what this means, family. I'm telling you from experience. I ain't talking about what I don't know. I'm coming from experience. When you set up your religious stuff and you file your religious stuff on a county, and then you know how to move in a particular manner, you can move and move wisely. I have to set that up for another time. Show you about the gold clause and using this stuff wisely. We do not have a Moorish government, but you can use an ecclesiastical body. Understanding how to utilize something that's not a statutory creature that can then contract with a statutory creature. That's for a better understanding. Y'all need to understand that. And the last point I want to make, and I want to show y'all, is about the gold clause. Because a lot of people are not teaching y'all. There's so much stuff that y'all got to know, man. There's so much stuff that I only could go over. And I can show you that they are violating a lot of our religious rights and customs. And if you was if you go to my YouTube channel, I bust down where they got it from. That was a part of treaty between France and Morocco. They got treaties with Great Britain talking about these things, these religious institutions. We gonna go through all of that. I'm gonna break all of that down as we start to develop and build. I'm gonna show you, because you have to be able to trace everything back. We dealing with contracts. We gotta hold these people to their head under the water dealing with contracts. I'm gonna show you how we can get back in control of everything if we do it right. But it takes a particular understanding. It takes a particular way of thinking and moving and understanding how this stuff works. And this is not a guessing game. So let me share this with y'all with the gold clause, because I already shared this before, but I'm gonna do this in this class. Let me show y'all something, right? Because it's time to stand up and start moving different, family. And I'm going to be able to show you how to move different. This ain't something I'm making up. This is something I know. They tell you they can't interfere with the obligation of contract. So why are you not moving in accordance to contracts? Why are y'all reaching for statutes to give remedy? You see that? gold clause, and consent to sue. Right? In this section, gold clause means a provision in or related to an obligation alleging to give the obligee a right to require payment in gold, a particular United States coin or currency, or United States money measured in gold, or a particular United States coin or currency. See, the U.S. Mint, they still making gold, family. Y'all dealing with the Federal Reserve. Y'all not dealing with the Treasury and dealing with the U.S. Mint and going to go get your gold and silver coins that way. You're not utilizing the institution in a particular way where I'm going to have to show you how you can do it and how you can discharge your debt. Public debt obligation means a domestic obligation, issue, or guarantee. I want you to say this. Public debt obligation means a domestic obligation issued and guaranteed by the United States to repay money or interest. The United States may not pay out any gold coin. They ain't got no gold. They bankrupt. A person lawfully holding United States coins or currency may present the coins and currency to the Secretary of Treasury for exchange for dollar for the United States coins and currencies other than gold or silver coins. They may be lawfully held. So they just told you. Secretary of Treasury for exchange dollar for United States coins and currency other than gold and silver coins that may be lawfully held. So your quarters, your nickels and dimes and stuff like that, those are lawful, those are other monies that you, because who make those? The U.S. Mint make all of those. Now, is your quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies, is they copper and gold? I mean, copper and silver and all that stuff and gold? No, they're not made like that. But they do sell gold and silver coins. U.S. Mint. The Secretary shall make exchange under regulations prescribed by the Secretary. The government withdraws its consent to give anyone to assert against the government, its agency, or its officers, employees, or agents a claim on gold clause, public debt obligation, or interest on the obligation. For the United States coins or currency, right? So nobody can say, right, on gold clause, public debt obligation, right? It's a public debt or interest on the obligation. They trying to charge you interest on all of this. Public debt means a domestic obligation issued and guaranteed by the United States government to repay money or interest. Now, how can the government, they just say, right, reciprocity, equality is definitely under the law. You can't, this says a gold clause, public debt obligation, or interest on the obligation. It just tells you the government withdraws its consent given to anyone to assert against the government, its agencies, or its officers, employees, or agents. If you acting as a Social Security, you got a Social Security number, and you're moving in that capacity, and you got EINs and stuff like that, you're operating as an agent. You're an employee. That's why they can hold this stuff, these statues over your head. But yet, everybody claiming interest over everything you doing. The bank. You go buy a house. That's illegal. They just told you this is illegal. It says means issued or guaranteed by the United States to repay money or interest. They tell you right here, right? The government withdraws consent to give anyone to assert against the government's agency, assist officers, employees, or agents a claim, right, or the gold clause public debt or interest on the obligation. So everybody who's charging you interest, credit card companies, all of that, that's illegal. For United States coins or currency or arising out of the surrender, requisition, seizure, or acquisition of state coins or currency, gold or silver, involving the effect or validity of a change in the metallic content of a dollar or in regulation about the value of money. Paragraph 1 of subsection does not apply to a proceeding in which no claim is made for payment or credit in the amount greater than the face or nominal value in the dollar of the public debt obligation or United States coin or currency involved in the proceeding, except when consent is not withdrawn under this subsection. An amount appropriate for payment or public debt obligation for the United States coin and currency may be expended only for dollar. In the subsection, obligation means an obligation except United States currency payable in United States money. What is they talking about? United States money. United States money is coins. The Constitution say coins, silver. So, what is United States? Again, under the Constitution. So, this lets you know, right? The district, when they say the United States, they talking about the United States. It's the District of the Money. And what's the District of Columbia money? Federal Reserve notes. I didn't make that up. The United States is in the District of, it's in the District of Columbia. An obligation issue containing a gold clause or government, it's an obligation issue containing a gold clause or governed by a gold clause is discharged on payment dollar for dollar in the United States coin or currency that is legal tender at the time of payment. Listen to me, family. Did you just read this? It says an obligation. I want y'all to understand this. 2, right? I want y'all to understand this. An obligation issue containing a gold clause or governed by a gold clause is discharged on payment dollar for dollar in the United States coin or currency that is legal tender at the time of payment. It says this paragraph does not apply to an obligation issue after October 27, 1977. This paragraph does not apply to an obligation issued after October 7, 1977. So they say anything before that, you can use this, right? But this is what you got to understand, right? About contract law, because contract is king. You got to understand waiver of rights. I'm sorry I didn't see any of this, family. I was just trying to go through this. Should a sovereign be outside the authority of the IRS when he doesn't even have to fill out the forms? Let me answer some of this. Okay, if you're a sovereign, right, and you outside the jurisdiction, because I'm about to get out of here, right? What y'all got to understand is how this stuff works. If you outside of the jurisdiction in that capacity, right, they don't have jurisdiction. The problem is everybody is dealing with Federal Reserve notes. That's the problem. Everybody dealing with Federal Reserve notes. You can't take gold and silver and go buy food. Go take gold and silver bullion. You can't do that. What you can do, you can set up a credit account and through negotiable instruments trade those credits. You know what I'm saying? Gold backed securities. And it's a way that you can do it. I talk about that in another class. It says, what will you use to protect yourself? Let's say, for example, Donald Trump's getting in the office and call full-fledged martial law. How would you be protected from the military power? What you got to understand, when they got jurisdiction over everything that they create and own. See, this is what y'all got to do, right? So this is how squatting on property can be valuable. See, if you squat on property for religious purposes and obtain that property for religious purposes, see, a lot of y'all gotta go to the store. That's all done in the district. You gotta go and you gotta use Federal Reserve notes. You gotta use you you buy a house, right? You did all of that through your mortgage. Let's say your house not paid for, right? And you don't transfer that into a church. See, you got to, once you discharge everything, you can put that into a religious thing. But the debt, the obligation got to be discharged first to put into a religious institution. They don't got jurisdiction over nothing religious. Have you had correspondence with the military, brother? No disrespect intended. These are very dangerous times we are in. So, so these are some good questions, right? Have you had correspondence with the military? So this stuff got to go through Homeland Security, and I didn't did a video on this. That's why I say y'all need to go watch my master, go sign up and watch some of my videos. I talk about this. So let's talk about the selective service. See, a lot of y'all don't know, right? Y'all, all the men are in the selective service. This is your military. This is your minimum contact. As soon as you resign or you use your religious exemption to come out of the uh, selective service, you ain't gonna be able to get no benefits from the government at all. None. You won't be able to get no food stamps. You won't be able to get any college funding to go back to school. It's a wrap. We already got the information on that. So if you really want to use that, if y'all really want to understand that, this is what you can do. And I could get into more of that religious stuff, showing you they got it in stat. That's what I'm saying. I can show you in black and white. I can show you in black and white. I don't want to be on here all night. But I can show you about the what they call the adjunct general. Look this up. The adjunct general. I think it's ADJUNCT general. Look up the adjunct general. Look up religious exemption and all of that, because the adjunct general deals with the militia. All you men are in the militia. You don't understand what's going on, family. We got to better understand how they're tricked us into this jurisdiction. So, can you use your religious identification? Yes. Let me explain something to y'all, right? Did you know if you had a box and half of it was black, the other half of it was white, that is considered to be off limits if there's a war, right? You're supposed to have, let me see if I can draw a picture. Let me use a pen. Let me show y'all something. This is why I say y'all got to really get into this information and understand how, right? It's a lot of information. It's a box like this. I think it's, I don't know if it's, I'm not for sure how it goes. It's either one or the other. I could do a class on this. I can show y'all some stuff. Okay. Let's see, can y'all see this? No, it won't show y'all. It won't show up. The paper won't show up. Why it won't show? It won't show up. It won't show up. It won't show. Oh, I guess because the background white, it won't show. Well, it would. So let's say this paper right here. Half of this paper, right? If it go down straight half of it will be white and the other half will be black. That's a flag that you're supposed to use and put in front of your door at any times of war. That's supposed to be off limits. See, you got to understand. See, this is what I'm gonna tell y'all. If you practice in Islam and you're gonna be a Muhammadan, I didn't show people how to get their passports using their. They were saying they can't wear their fans, or they can't do this or whatever. All I did is we started an administrative process, and I saying if this is show us the state statute, show us everything you got, right? Show us the law, put a memorandum together of law, show us, and then put your affidavit together with the exhibits verifying what you're saying. If not, if you fail to do so within 30 days, right, then you're going to be liable for denying such persons of a religious right. See, I know how to do this because I've been doing this a long time, right? So when you don't know how to use your religious power, see, you got religion. So I ain't talking about you setting up a religious institution through the state under some kind of corporate act. But I know how you need that entity on the public side to interface with. Why do you need that entity, King Bay? Because that person can witness, it can testify, it can have records that can help the private person, right? It can issue documents. It can say it was the issuing and the evidence through notaries and all of that. I know how to contract. I know how to move around here. So when I go to, so if I say I go to the bank, sometimes the bank be tripping. What I do, I say, okay, let me go down to the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor may not, I'll be like, well, I need to speak to somebody because y'all need to give me this. Or this is a violation of my religious rights. I had the prosecutor call the bank. I had the prosecutor call the prosecutor's office, call the county. I have the prosecutor's office call whatever, because I show them the law. I say, well, show me where y'all can do this, because y'all violate the Constitution right here. Y'all acting under color of law. Let me show y'all something before. Let me see if they still got the color of law for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all. That's why I say they acting under color of law. Violation, denial of rights under color of law. See, you can hit them with one of these statements. Send it in. See, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. When you understand how to move until we get everything set up on our side, because I'm writing books on sovereignty. I've been studying that stuff. It's so much stuff. There's so many moving parts that we got to know. Y'all don't even understand. I've been doing this for a long time. So when people try to challenge what I know up here, the one thing I do, I'm a litigator. I've been to court a lot. And I beat them on appeals. I didn't beat the court where the court don't even, on appeal, they don't even want to answer. But the case, I'm going to tell you, they do this a lot. I didn't see them court do this, where you will have a case, I already filed a stay, I said a stay for trial, I already put it and filed an injunction, right? Because that's a form of equitable relief before the court, and have the appellate court look at these issues of due process. Don't you know a lot of times I done been there where they wouldn't answer or address the injunction? That they'll let the injunction stay and the court and just act like the case. They won't even enforce the case. But this is what they'll do. They'll get a smart aleck prosecutor who will look at this case and see that case is still open and try to jump back on it years later. And then what you hit them with is speedy trial violation. This is the stuff that you got to know when you're a litigator like myself. And you understand these components, you will start being able to move different. What's the problem is we not organizing. I bring a level of understanding of what we need to do under an organized umbrella. And once you understand how to organize under an organized umbrella, now you got more eyes and ears operating all together. Now you can put people under direct scrutiny. But we'll talk about that at another time. This is your boy King L Bay. Anybody got any questions before I get up out of here? Anybody got any questions? Now I just showed you. You in the District of Columbia, family. Understand what's going on. Understand the source of the funds. We'll break that down I'm gonna be teaching people all of these steps. I know, and we can break this stuff down because you got to be able to have what they call the substance over form doctrine. I showed that before, but let me show that one more again before I get out of here. I learned this years ago. Y'all got to know this. Y'all got to know this information. And I did this on a video already. I don't know if this one. This is dealing with some case law. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see. It don't want to pull up for me. Trying to show y'all this. This is why I talk about the source of the fun. Substance over form. And a lot of y'all don't understand this. They don't even want to come up. I'm trying to get the one I had before. And normally, there you go. There you go. It finally did it. There you go. It took me a few times. Sometimes these search engines be tripping. Substance over form is a accounting concept that transacts records into financial statements, and a company disclosure of entity must reflect their economic substance rather than their legal form. This concept aims to present a true and fair view of the affairs of the entity and prevent artificial structures from being used to avoid paying taxes. The concept originated in the 1935 Supreme Court case and has evolved with case law. So, what you got to understand, they want to know where you getting your substance from, how you making a living off of what. They're looking at all the minimum contacts, social security number, EIN number, all of these different things. You can't show them nothing. If you don't know how to break this down, you can't show them nothing. The substance of a form doctrine, y'all got to know that because the IRS gonna use that and the court gonna use that. They want to know how you doing everything, and we providing everything for you. They took away your ability to live. You got to have a hunting license, deer license, hunting license, fishing license, driver's license, all of these different licenses. They put you under this scrutiny. You can't show them. This is why I say I'm going to be teaching y'all this, showing y'all how to use constitutional money, how to use all of this stuff, back it, show where they have a waiver of right. See, this is what they can do, right? See, a lot of people don't understand. Just like you can waive your constitutional rights, they can waive their rights too. You can tell them what they got to do within a particular amount of time and will constitute of a waiver. Failure to do so is a waiver. Acquiescence, if you fail to subscribe to the law in which I'm doing under this contract, you waive all those rights. Those are unenforceable. You got to have I do this. When I tell y'all about these contract games, I'm on another level, man. I've been reading, studying treaties. I've been reading, studying international law. I've been trying to get, I'm breaking down the history to put it all together because you got to be able to trace it. But this is your boy, man. I'm out of here, family. I need y'all to stay on point with this information. Enjoy yourself. It's Saturday. I'm working on contracts. All you gonna hear is King Al Bay talk about contract. Show y'all how to move. Peace and love to everybody. And let's keep pushing.